Testing one, two, three. Testing one, two, three. Testing one, two, three. Testing one, one, two, three. Good morning. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Uh, Wait a minute. Okay, you ought to be able to see me now. Hey man, I can see you. Are you there? Can you see? No, I'm not hearing you. Maybe your microphone's muted. Can you see? No, I'm not hearing you. Maybe your microphone's muted. All right, you were now on the webinar. Um, are you going to the top? Can you first of all, can you hear me? Nod your head. You hear me? Okay. Let me just show you something on my screen. So I'm going to take this back, and I'm going to um, share my screen. Turn off my camera. Turn off my camera first. Okay, now let me share my screen. Okay, what I'm showing here Can you see this a facsimile of what the control panel looks like? I'm moving it around. Okay, so what you need to do, and I imagine you already have, is when you go up to the top here. Right now, when this is red, it means that my camera is muted, and this is not intuitive because to me, the line going through it means it's muted, but it doesn't mean that at all. It has to be red to be muted. And if this is not red, your microphone should be working. Like if I click this on mine, you would no longer be able to hear me, which is going to be the case when we're doing it because you're the one that has to be heard, not me. So I'll mute my microphone. So have you gone up here and tried to unmute your microphone up here? You should see when you move your mouse up to the top, these controls will become apparent. They're not apparent normally. It's not working. I don't know why you're not getting sound. I mean, I've done this with other. Let me switch it over to one of my other computers. I also have this set up on one of my other computers. Let me see if the microphone's working there. Okay, I'm now controlled from another computer. Can you hear me? Okay. Let me control it. Let me control it back to you.
Okay, now can you hear me?
Now I hear you.
Okay, I watched you say when you switched over the controls, it said a thing came up said now you are live on the broadcast. You may unmute.
Oh, okay, and that's the thing you didn't do. It didn't see before.
Yeah, no, I mean I was trying to unmute all the time, but until you switched the controls, it didn't work.
Interesting. Okay. Now I'm going to switch it back to you. And now what I have is I have on another computer. I logged in as a customer, and I have which is what I was hoping Kathy and Fetty would do. I don't know if Fetty said he would join us, but I asked him a couple of days ago. I'm wondering if he forgot. But anyway, no matter because I have it on another computer where I could see. You must have been there too, because I imagine that's how you were sending me the chats.
Yeah, that's where I was first.
Yeah, right. Well, that's what the customer sees. And I have another computer where I have that, and I can switch screens so you can see what that looks like in case you want to make an adjustment. For example, I can make it so that chat box is on the right instead of underneath, but I think it's small enough it's okay underneath. And I can also make it where right now everybody sees everybody else's chats, and that's a setting that I can adjust. I don't know if you want that or not. I could set it up instead of chats, change the setting to where I only see them, and everybody doesn't see everybody else's. I mean, that's up to you how you want to set that. It's just a setting.
I mean, I think, bro, you tell me, but I think it would be good for people to see each other's chats.
Yeah, I do too. I can't think. I mean, I can't think of a reason, especially in this closed group of people who are all part of your, either prospect or, if you had something that was going out to the general public, there may be a reason you may not want to do that. But I think in this case, it's fine. That's my feeling too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now the other thing I wanted to show you. Let me go back to my Okay, so now let's set for you. So let me go back to me, and you can see my screen on the left here. See on the left here where I'm pointing it underneath the Google, that little green box right there.
Yep.
When I send the control back to you, you can do two things. And most of the time it's going to be you on the call because you're obviously the one doing the press. I'm just in the background manipulating the controls. I have the ability. You can see on the bottom here right now it was me and me. That's because I had it set up on two computers. I took a screenshot of this, and that's what you're looking at. Right now, what I'm seeing on my actual screen, I'm also seeing you. Maybe you are too. Maybe you're seeing all three of us on the bottom on your control.
Well, your video camera's off.
Yes, that's right. I turned it off. But you still should be able to see my screen because I have it set on my second. What you're seeing here, I'm moving this.
Yes.
That's on my second monitor. I have the ability, and you can do the same thing. Let me So you're not going to see it because you're not seeing my live screen. And besides, customers don't see. Well, maybe you will because you're not a customer. Let me switch over to this screen here. I have it's a little complicated for me because I have multiple monitors and I'm able to use. I was clicking on the screenshot and not the actual control. I was wondering why it wasn't working.
Okay, now I see a big blank screen.
So now I can go to screen 1 and hit it share. All right. Let me turn my camera off. I'm turning my camera. All right.
Now I'm getting the kaleidoscope effect. Do you see that?
Yeah, I am too. I'm trying to think why it's doing. All right, let me go back to screen 2. So anyway, what I'm trying to show you here, I'll go back to screen 2.
So just so you know, man, this is the same kind of initial learning curve that I went through with Phil, where we were having exactly the same issues that you and I are having. So at the beginning, way back when Phil first started using this, we were doing the same thing. How do I get the kaleidoscope to stop? How do I get things to work? How do I get the...
Well, let me tell you. Let me show you this. I was going to show you on a live screen, but what I have here, that's why the kaleidoscope was on, because I had a picture within a picture within a picture, and it was kaleidoscope. So what I have here is this is a screenshot that I took. Oh, wait,
Okay.
Let me see. I know what happened. Fetty just. I didn't give Fetty this. I gave Fetty the customer. Fetty sent me a Skype. Let me see what this Skype is.
Okay.
If you are good with it, I will suggest we send this ahead. This way we can't reach. I don't know what he's talking about. All right. Let me just tell you. He's on. Okay. Just a coincidence. He was responding to something else I had sent him about another client. He had no. I thought he was on and was talking about us. Okay. He just said he's going to come on. Okay. What I need to show you is this. I have the ability, and so do you, on the bottom here, to toggle between people who have the host code. Okay. So and the reason why you see 2 is this is a screenshot before you came on. And I have it on 2 different computers. So this is me on one computer, and then I can toggle it over to my other computer. Right now, what I'm seeing live is I'm also seeing you to the left of this, and I can just click on you, and you'll take over the controls. All you do is click over to you, which of course is what I'll do. Now, but what I want to show you is when you're on, and you want your camera to be on, as it is now. When I click to you, this would not have the red. You would click this. You'd have this when you click this, keep clicking as it toggles back and forth between the red background and no red background. When there's a red background, your video is not on, and when there's no red background, the video is on. And again, you don't see these controls until you bring your mouse up there and they pop down. You're looking at a screenshot that
Yeah, no, bro. All this I'm really familiar with. I mean, I know how to take myself on and off.
I didn't know that. Well, the other thing you need to know is right here on the left, this little green button here. You click that, and that's how you show your computer in case you have a PowerPoint or you want to show a tool. Now, that's my question to you. Do you want me to have those things on my computer so that you can so you can be narrating? I'm not sure how that works now. If it's on I think it has to be on your computer for you to narrate. I'm not sure of that. What I was going to suggest is I could have the visual on my computer, and you could be talking. I'm pretty sure it works like that. Fetty is even more familiar with this than me. But I mean, my point is, when you get it on your computer, let me switch it over to your computer now.
Okay.
I'm going to switch it so you now. So now you're on. So now your video is going out to everybody who's on the webinar.
Okay.
If you were to click that little green button and click on your computer desktop, then whatever's on your desktop would show rather than showing your video. You can
Right.
toggle between.
So I'll just give you an example.
I got a Fetty can't find the email. I'm going to send it to him again.
Can you see that?
Yeah, I see that fine. The email free 48 hours. I see it perfectly.
Yeah. So that's working. Now that part has generally been pretty easy. What's been a lot harder is when we try to share a video. So now it should be back to me.
Yeah, you're back. I'm seeing your video now. So you got that down, toggle that back and forth, no problem there. Share a video. You're talking about if you try to play a video from your computer, it has.
Yeah, like I know there's a way to do it right. I don't know what they are, but I know you can share videos. You can do all that stuff. I mean, I've done it. The only thing I've been able to do is here. Let me do one thing right here. Let me open up something real quick. Let's just do this real quick here. If I go, here's what I know how to do. Got that? Okay. Now, what I do here is I know how to do this. For example, let's talk about the 9 whys. See that?
Right. I see that beautifully. Everything's looking good. In fact, let me go to the customer console and see how the customer sees it. Now, keep in mind there is a delay with the customers.
Yeah, but it's only about a second usually. And you, by the way, are not coming through sound-wise through your headset. You're coming through the room.
Yeah, you know why? Because I have to change microphones because I don't have a microphone on this headset. I have another microphone which has another headset which has a microphone. If I'll need it to speak, I have it on my other computer. If I'll need it to speak, I can switch microphones.
Yeah, no worries. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah, no, I'm aware of that.
Okay, so then if I stop sharing, then it comes back to me, and I have the ability to mute my camera out, and then you should see a picture.
That's exactly right. There it is.
Okay, that's working. And then I should have the ability to put you on the screen, so that would show up as a big blue circle right now. Or are you still seeing me?
I think no, right now I still see you.
Okay, hold on. How about now?
No, I still see you. I'm not sure. I would think you had the same controls that I do because I gave you the same link that I had to get on.
Yeah, normally I should be able to, well, who's ever the producer, so that may be you, not me, should be able to put whoever they want up on the screen for everybody else to pay attention to.
Well, let me see. Now I'm going to switch it to me. Okay, that's switched to me. Do you see that switch when you're in?
Yeah, but I don't see is your camera on?
No, I just have it to that thing I was showing you. I can put
Default.
So,
Yeah, because on mine, for example, there's stuff you can do, like I can do this. Wait, no, I got enabled tools. Hold on. So now I'm here. If I enable the toolbox, well, Fede says he's listening. If I enable the toolbox, then I should be able to do some stuff like can you see that?
I have it set to right now. I have it set to me. You're not seeing my video.
Oh yeah, now I see you. But do you see a lower third on mine?
Let me click back to you. Yes, Grizzly Goldsboro, the Y guy.
Okay, now if I go like this, and
Okay, Fetty's going to join us as a host because he says he can help us because he has more
okay,
experience
awesome.
than I do. Okay, he's going to join us here. Yeah, I've only done a handful, and he's live. I've done a million of them recorded, pre-recorded. That's actually normally how I've done them in advance.
Mm-hmm.
But I've only done 2 or 3 of them live. Whereas he's done a ton of them.
Okay. Now why is this not coming on for me? There we go. Now it should show up as red.
All right, so Fetty is on. Let me switch over to him. Fetty, we can't hear you. We had the same trouble with. I think he's saying. I don't know if he's telling us to be quiet or he can't hear us or.
Oh, there we go. Okay, now I was able to unmute myself. There we go.
Okay, now we hear you, bro.
Now,
Okay.
Chrissy, do you see Fetty on your end?
I see Fetty.
Okay, I see Ridge. I see whoever's talking. So it's set to whoever talks gets the screen.
Okay.
Which is how we want it.
Okay.
But what's funny is it doesn't change on mine unless I change it.
Well,
That's because Ridge, you probably have one of the boxes at the bottom selected. If any of the bottom boxes have a white border around it, means that you have that person as the one that you want to watch.
Right, I have you done that. How do I take that off?
Just go on there and click that again.
Oh, okay.
And then you should have no boxes, and then whoever talks will switch the screen.
Okay, Bobby, say something.
Hi, how are you today?
Oh, okay. Yeah, now Bobby, yeah, that's working. But when I start talking, it doesn't switch back to me.
Yeah, it did on my end, but there's a little bit of a delay. Why is my camera?
It's switching on Bobby, but not on me.
Yes, well, when I speak, then it doesn't switch back on me. I think that would be too weird for you to watch. Now, here's the thing. And this is the question I was here listening to you guys on where this is getting projected. Whoever actually produces this, meaning whoever opens the Hangout or creates the Hangout, he's got the power with a cameraman to show what the entire audience listens to. And that is a setting over here on the left. It's called Cameraman. And Bobby, I don't know if you opened this Hangout. This is something that you should have.
Yes, I opened the Hangout and I did set that. I set that so that it says our guests, as guest joins, hide their audio and video from my broadcast. And as we've done before, I selected that as yes. And then the other broadcast a large video that I see of my audience and hide from the other video.
Yeah, we can barely hear you, Bob.
All right, let me switch microphones.
And I see that you're logged in here twice, too.
Yeah, because I'm on 2 different computers.
Okay. Got it.
Let me switch over to this computer. Maybe that'll work better. Hold on. Okay, can you guys hear me better now?
Better, yes. Yeah.
Yes, now I'm on the other computer and I have a headset hooked into that computer. Okay, very good.
Now let me see if my sound goes a lot better if I get my headset. Let me try that. See what this does here.
Fede, I have to ask you a quick question. When you were on the
No audio, Ridge.
Okay, can you hear me now?
There, yes. Yes,
Okay,
I can
is
hear
it
you.
better?
now
Yeah,
here,
it's pretty good. Yeah,
Okay,
both were
yeah, I think it's better. A little, I think it's a little clearer.
okay,
Yes.
okay, cool. Fede, you remember when we were having these same challenges early on with Phil?
Yes.
And I'm just trying to think. I guess there's no substitute for practicing because it seems like it was the same thing, and now Phil's got it all dialed in.
Yes, yes, and I did enough of these that I had it going pretty well. So it is a thing of just practicing. So okay, Bobby. So then on your end, in terms of the producer, and whoever produces this, when you have the cameraman, you can select which of the participants in here get to see their picture projected. Okay. And I don't know, Ridge, if Phil does it. I mean, he used to do it, when he did his high-end stuff, that he would do, he would essentially just click on the box of whoever he wanted to, and that would be the projection that would go off on the user's end, okay?
Mhm.
Otherwise, we just keep it open. The thing is that, if any of us makes any noise, then it's going to go back and forth from you to me to somebody else, etc.
Right, right. I remember that. Yeah, now that you mention it, Phil always kind of mutes out everybody else.
Exactly. Yes, and that's really the role of the producer. And I mean, I'm happy to do this too. I mean, because I've done it a bunch of times. Um, and that might just work. And Bobby, or Bobby, we can just practice some more until you really have this down. Because it's a lot.
Yeah, no, I mean, my only concern is Venezuelan internet, bro. I mean, that's the.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I agree.
So then I'm totally with you. And what we can do, Bobby, is just go through this a whole bunch of times and just do it until you really have it down.
Well, I mean, I had it down for when we did the test ones for the other project we were
Yeah.
working on. But
Mhm.
and what I learned how to do there is switch it, switch on the bottom switch. It's got controls on the computer. I set the cameraman already done, and I also had it where, in that case, I remember I had a pre-recorded video on one of my monitors, and I switched and had that queued up to play, and I had and I switched it back to you when they were presenting. So what more do I need to know? What are you suggesting that we need to do?
Well, I mean, really, what you need to do, and Richard, are you planning on having some of your participants come and join you in here in the Hangout itself?
Well, that's the idea, is to show doing their why. And I think we need to have backups, like maybe you and Bobby, to be ready just in case, because until we get this thing down, like I know we can, because obviously Phil's doing it all the time, and we had to figure that out there. But yes, I was planning that, because the whole session is about teaching people how to do whys.
Yes, okay. And if that's the case, the other thing that we used to do with Phil is we would bring them into I mean, I'm just sort of thinking logistics, and maybe this is not the time for the conversation or so, but let me know. What we used to do is bring people into a Hangout 15 minutes ahead of time so that we can help them, get set up with their mics and their screen so they don't look all goofy like this, and all kinds of little details so that it would look professional, and we would do the lower thirds for them, all that stuff. So that's something else to consider if that's part of the consideration. If that's part of what you want to do.
Well, let's talk about that for a second, because obviously where we are today and where we want to get to might be two different things, right? So if I'm thinking about I was having this conversation yesterday with Phil, and as expected, we're getting a few cancellations here or there, and I think it'll be all part of our conversation on Friday morning. My overall goal is to really always be focused on the long term. How are we setting up systems that are excellent in the long term so that when I go out there and do my job, just like I'm driving this afternoon 2.5 hours to go to Panama City, I'm having dinner with one CEO tonight and speaking to 12 more tomorrow morning, that I just put them into the machine and they come into the machine. And part of the machine is there are weekly events like this, weekly webinars, weekly hangouts. And, so obviously to be able to promote a lot of those to the entire list, to continue building community, building rapport, giving them lots of value, but not allowing them to participate in the actual event is critical, so that I become a lot like Marcia was when we were working with Marcia, which is, hey, everybody out there, isn't this great? By the way, if you want to join us, all you have to do is click on the button and become a buyer. And then you can join us on the inside. So that's where we want to get to.
Okay.
Now, let me just say something about this first one that we got scheduled for tomorrow night. What you were suggesting, Fetty, I don't know how that could be done.
All right.
Bobby, your audio is gone again. I don't know, for some reason it's...
All right, it's better now.
Okay, yes.
What I was saying is that we can't do what you suggested for tomorrow night's webinar, because we're using the stealth. So we've already set it up. We've already got them registered for that and all the system. And what that means is that stealth system, while it shows everything that we show on the webinar, people enter a different way. They enter through the stealth system rather than entering as they would go directly through Google Hangouts on air. Now that's going to change because we're going to switch over to Webinar Jam. But for this one, we're not going to be able to, have them come in early and work with them. And so that's going to give us a few limitations, which I'm now learning. And originally that goes to what we were talking about yesterday, where you can have the two classes of people and you can do all these things. Apparently, there's a trade-off with stealth. The advantage is you have all the pre-registration, the reminders, and the text reminders, and all that stuff. But and according to them, it's cleaner having them go through their system than having them join directly through Google Hangouts. But from what I'm hearing and learning over this situation now, is there's a trade-off, and we're losing some of that. For example, the way I see it, they can leave their text messages, in chat as you did, and we can communicate with them that way. But I don't know if there's the ability for them to come on live and see their faces. Are you able to do that directly with Google Hangouts if we weren't using the? I'm asking you this, Fetty, because you have a lot of experience.
Yeah. Here's how that works, and the answer is yes. Whoever you want to come into the Hangout itself, you essentially have to send them the link that you just sent me, and I came on. So they have to leave the broadcast area in Stealth and come in here, which is a different place. Okay.
Well, that might be kind of complicated to do. I think when we switch over to Webinar Jam, that'll be smoother.
I don't know that it's any smoother in there, or if they solve that, they may have. But usually it's, here's how Phil used to do it in the days before Webinar Jam. He used to, in the Hangout, just mention, hey, if anybody wants to join in, just type, in your chat box. And then he would place in the chat box, in the equivalent of the Webinar Jam, in equivalent of the Webinar Stealth, are you able to communicate back with them through chat, is the question.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
In fact, when you were on the earlier on the first interface, you can see all the chats, and I can chat back and forth to them as well.
Okay.
So your suggestion that the way to do this would be to say, hey, if you'd like to join in and click this link,
and have your Y done by Ridgely, and come on live with us. Yes, click this link.
Now, the way I see it though is that I don't know if I can select person A. I think if I put it in a chat, everybody sees it. So you might have 10 people coming in at once.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Did Phil
Yeah.
have the same issue?
Yes, yes, and it wasn't a problem in his case, but now we're having, people who haven't paid, who are here as prospects, and we certainly don't want them in, over people who have paid, which is a different situation we have.
Well,
The
let's talk about that for a second, though, because eventually, that's exactly right. But for tomorrow night, what we need is people.
right.
Right.
Hmm.
So it doesn't matter who comes in. Like
Right.
eventually, we want to be able to distinguish. These are the buyers; they get to come in. These
Right.
are the prospects; they get to listen in.
Hmm. Hmm.
And that's what Phil was. That's what Phil had mastered. I just don't know how to do it.
Yeah, well,
Right.
I have a feeling that's a webinar jam thing, which because Stealth definitely cannot do that. I checked with them and we had a discussion about it.
Yes, Rich. And if you're looking for people inside, to come in, what I would suggest is to send them an email, send a broadcast to all of the people who are willing to pay, or the I guess they're no longer prospects, they're clients. Send an email to the clients and say, hey, tomorrow we have our first live webinar. If you want to participate in the why, text, just reply back to me. So we're sure to send you a link and you can come on board with us.
Yeah, that's a good thought.
And then you have a list of 4 or 5 different people, hopefully, who are willing to have their why done. Otherwise, of course, you have me and Bobby.
Right. The only thing is, again, we have some unknowns here that we're dealing with, right? So some of the unknowns are, like, for example, just to give you guys some real numbers, I had a total of 10 companies express an interest in a higher level workshop, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I've got 2 that have asked for bookings, and 2 that have said, "Pay me back later in the year. I got too much stuff on my plate."
Mm-hmm.
Totally get it. I'm gunning to have 5 out of the 10 that actually come through now in the short term.
Mm-hmm.
But what we don't know at all is, how do Australia people think? Do they show up to these things if it's at 8 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning, or 10 o'clock in the morning? Do they only show up if it's in the evening? In other words, there's one of the challenges that we're dealing with is we still have a lot of unknowns on our end as to people's behavior. So that's why at the beginning we kind of need to leave the thing wide open so that we have bodies in there to discover their why.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Then my recommendation would be just the simple, put the link in the chat box whenever you're ready to do it, and then people can jump in and we'll have a couple of backups, if like in-house family type people.
Yeah, I mean, certainly I will be there.
Does that?
I can be there as though I'm one of your prospects or customers, and they don't have to know otherwise, and say, yeah, this is Bob from blah blah blah. Do my why. I mean, so we have. And Fedia, would you be able to join the call? It's tomorrow night.
Of course, yeah, of course, yes.
It's
Yes.
It's 8 p.m. Eastern time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now how many people do we have registered now, Bob?
I don't know. Let me go check. I checked it the other day, and I meant to check.
We had just like 14 before, and again, with a ratio being normal, that would mean out of 14 we're going to get 4.
5, yeah, 4 or 5, yeah. Oh, something else that's coming up here, and Reg, you might be listening to, and this might be because Bobby's logged in 2 computers. I'm getting a lot of feedback.
Yes, and generally that happens when somebody's not muting and unmuting people. Like when you do one of these with Phil, he is constantly unmuting everybody that's not, muting everyone that's not talking. So if I'm talking, he'd have unmuted Fede and Bobby. He would have muted you, sorry. And then as soon as it's back to you, he'd unmute you. And like that.
Yes. Yeah.
Let me just see something here.
Yeah.
Okay, so I hit the drop down box. Yeah, see, I have the ability to mute, and I'm any one of you, so I see how to do that. So basically, obviously, we're not going to have I keep forgetting this. The reason why I don't wear this headphone is it's hooked up to the other computer, and I have the profile set up, the other version for a prospect, and there's a time delay, and it's driving me crazy. So I have to have this headphone to hear and this headphone to talk. I'll work that out. But anyway, what I'm saying is there won't be as many people jumping around like we're doing now. For the most part, it's going to be you, Ridgely, and then the occasional person who comes on. So I'll be on top of that muting thing.
Okay.
But Fede, if you want to run through a practice run, you and me, between now and tomorrow night, I'm happy to do that.
Yeah, let's do that.
Practice.
Yeah, let's do that, because and you're absolutely right. Power outages, whatever crap I have to deal with, it's just, I'm out of the picture, in terms of being able to produce this, but happy to, to support you, Bobby, in that.
Assist. Yeah, because the two that we did, especially the last one that we did for the other client, it went smoothly. I was running that, so I have confidence there won't be any problem.
Yeah.
I just got to go through some new learning curves. Like this muting thing wasn't an issue before. And what else? And then bringing out extra people on, sending them the link and all that. That's something new. But we'll try that and test that.
Well, the other thing is that I'm thinking that it might be worth. I mean, Fede, you've given us your input. It might be worth 20 minutes with Phil also to say what he learned, get his feedback, because he does these like daily.
Yeah, I agree.
And he's ready to do it. So we can easily set that up to try to just get his basic take on this. I mean, he said he'd help produce one of them for us, but basically what I'm looking for is the tutorial, because I went through this with Becca, and then I went through this with Phil. And exactly what has happened to us this morning is exactly what happened to Becca and Phil. In other words, as simple as it may seem, there's these tricks, and there's these ways, and there's these nuances, and there's this stuff that when you get them all, it makes life a lot easier. I would just try to, hope we can shorten our learning curve as much as we can as we're building the machine.
Yes. Yeah, agree.
Okay, so what do we have registered, Bob? Do we have any more?
Oh, I was starting to check and I got sidetracked. Hold on, let me go check.
What'd you say, Kath? Yeah, Bobby, can you see how many people opened the invite and how many actually registered, just for curiosity?
Hangout toolbox.
Yeah, because, I mean, I'm loving this, because I'm thinking to myself, let's get us and Phil and all of us on the same page using basically the same technology. Okay, now I'm echoing. Okay, let's get us, we're using Zendesk, which is the same technology. We're all coming together in the same place. Okay, Fede muted Bobby DiMaria. I see that up on my screen. Perfect.
Yeah, and I'm seeing if he let's see. Oh, Bobby, I can't unmute you. That sucks. I remember one time before starting one of these, I didn't just mute Ridgely, I kicked him out.
Yeah. Exactly.
And then we needed to go way back into like Google Plus or something and to get him back on. So Bobby, are you? Yeah. So anyway, when I muted Bobby's second, oh, it's coming back now.
Oh, no, it's not. Now you muted him out.
No, that's Bobby doing it himself. Yeah. That's Bobby doing it himself. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, now we can't hear you, Bob.
Now, Bobby, you have to unmute yourself in the other system. Because that's where we were hearing you from. Now we can't hear you. Yeah.
The other thing that Phil always did, which was smart, is like if our call tomorrow is at 8 p.m. Eastern, he would get on at 7:25.
Yes.
And then invite everybody else to show up at 7:30 if they were going to be in the call. And then he would spend half an hour before the call making sure that people had a microphone that worked, that you could hear them, that all that stuff.
Yes.
sense. Can you hear me now?
Yes, now we
Yeah,
can
we
hear
can
you,
hear you.
Bob.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was mentioning in terms of getting them on board earlier. So we like the green room. We call it the green room experience. Yeah.
Right. And that's
Yeah.
cool too because people like that. Oh, the green room. Ooh, it's
It's
like
the
being a
special
show.
in crowd. Yeah, you get to be special.
Well, and I think that's important, man. I think that's important. We want to invite you into the green room. In other words, it's almost like we're taking advantage of all that we've learned up until now to create the best possible experience for the client, the best protocol, the best standard operating procedure, all that stuff, so that they feel special no matter what.
Okay, listen,
Yes.
I have the answer for your question. We still have the same number, 16 people registered for the webinar. So we have to send another email out. Now, the question is, do you want to include a PS? Well, I was going to suggest that you want to include the PS where you ask them if they want to be invited to share their why. I mean, we can have them reply to that email because it would go to Kathy, and I think it goes to me too. If not, I can have it set up that way. If they reply to that email, or have them click another link or some other thing. I mean, do you want to do that where we have a second call to action for those people who want to have their why and be engaged in it, or not? What do you guys think?
Well, two things. What we most care about is having people come into the chat session, because if we're recording this and then sending it out to everybody in the list, if it's a good call, then we need to have people in there.
Right.
So the way I understand it, and Fede, correct me if I'm wrong, what'll happen is that the sala, the hangout, will fill up. And then everybody else is kind of in a watching only mode. They can't come in because there's 10 people in the sala, in the hangout. Is that right?
That's right.
So we don't want to, if we only have 16 people, so we're up two people from before. Last time you told me it was 14. So that's 16 people. Then we're probably going to get 5 that show up. So we should leave this completely open so that these 5 people show up across the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, but see, the way it stands up right now, they're not, because I sent them the link where it's the self-seminar link where we can take their chats just like you chatted me, and we can communicate with them via chatting back and forth, but they're not involved in this process that we are right now.
Oh, so that was a mistake on my part, not communicating clearly. What I was saying is invite everybody to this part, because I thought we're not going to get enough people. It sounds like we have that challenge.
Okay.
Well, I have another issue. This is a question you might be able to answer, Fede. In order to send the link to get in here that I sent to both of you guys this morning, that session had to be started. So I didn't know what that link was until the session was started this morning. So how could I send people a link in advance? It doesn't seem like there's a way to do that. What is your experience with that, Fede?
There is a workaround when you pre-plan the hangout. It'll give you that link. There's in one of the steps when you're setting it up, it asks you, are you starting this? Are you wanting to start this right now,
I did see that.
or do you
But
want to do this
start it
into the
now, and
future?
I always select it now.
Okay.
So we can select a later date, and I'll still get that link.
Yes. Otherwise, the very first thing we do, Ridge, is look, we want you guys actually, the moment this gets started, when people are in the broadcast area, and I guess the distinction we can make is you're either in the broadcast or you're part of the hangout. And that way it's clear in the nomenclature that we use. This being this bar in here, you're in the hangout. Otherwise, you're just watching the broadcast. And those are the two distinctions. So when people are starting to watch the broadcast, you just put that, again, you just put that link. It's like, hey, come on right on board. And that way we can see one another. And that's the invitation. Otherwise, what you could do is those last few emails, like the morning of or an hour prior, which are the ones that Stealth Webinar sends, if you can replace the link with whatever Google Hangout link we have here, and that way when they click on it, they come in here automatically.
Well, see, there's no way to edit that. That's an automatically generated
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
link based on what the settings are. So we wouldn't be able to do that. However, we can send a broadcast directly to them.
Hmm.
Now, is there a way that if we send a second email at 11 o'clock this morning, saying, "Hey, the webinar's tomorrow night. Be sure you register." Could those people be sent directly to the Hangout?
Well, yeah. If I do what Fetty's suggestion, which means I'm going to go back in and set up the Google Hangouts on there, and then instead of having it set up now, which is what I've always done in the past, set it up in advance for that time, and I'll make it a half hour early.
Right.
And then what Fetty's telling me, if I go through it that way, I'll get that link, and that's the link I can put in, and that would be the equivalent of the link I sent you two guys this morning.
Right.
Here.
Yeah, that's what we want to do.
Well, I have one caveat to this, Ridge, which is if people come on here and they're not really set up for this could be unless we're muting everybody out, etc. It could be a bit of a mess.
Right. So we just have to somehow go through the learning curve, right? I mean, I'm trying to figure out how to do this. And by the way, I've got a client in 3 minutes.
Okay.
I'm just trying to figure out how do we do this, because I've gone through that mess thing, and you just kind of go, "Hey, John, can you unmute yourself? Can you click on here?" The thing that we don't have that Phil has is he's been through it 50 times, so he knows, do this, do that, do this, do that, and he's much quicker than we are.
Well, the first thing I would do, Fetty, is how we right now have nobody has the white box around them, so we can all, I will make sure that white box is around Ridgely. So anybody else talks, and if they come in, I'll have them unmuted until we call on them or something. I don't know. What do you guys think? That would be
you can do two things. You can one. I like the idea of the white box around Ridgely, so that way the broadcast is all focused on Ridgely. Number two, whenever anybody else comes in, selection in your cameraman is whenever anybody comes into the Hangout, they are muted. So the moment they come in, they're muted, and then you just have to stay on top of it as you unmute the right person.
Let me ask a question of you guys. Would you by chance be available in an hour?
We have a call at 9. What is it? No, at 10. So in 2 hours, Ridge.
Okay. So can you set up another Hangout by chance at like 10:30 or 11 your time? What time is good?
Wait a second. We're on a call from 10 to 11, so 11:30. This is Eastern.
Yeah, 11:30 Eastern.
Does that work for you, Bob?
Yeah, I'm on that same call that Fetty is, but after that call, I'll be off too.
Okay, so can you set up another one for which would be in essence 2 hours from now, right?
11:30, 2 hours. Yes. And what I'll do, Fetty, is I'll practice setting it up for that time. I'll set it up now for that time. This way, I'll get experience getting the link ahead of time.
Okay. Because I gotta call this client right now.
Okay.
Okay.
Fetty, you got a few minutes? You want to hang on? We can hang on for a few minutes more, even though Ridgely has to leave.
Yeah, certainly. All right, Ridge.
All right. Talk
Take
to you
care,
in
bro.
2 hours. Okay.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. See, I didn't. It sounds like Phil. It sounds like Webinar Jam had the same limitations that Stealth has, because if Phil had to send them that direct link to get them in, then that's the same thing I have to do. I have the impression that maybe it's true, Webinar Jam, there's a way you can send them their link and have the choice of having them enter or not enter. I don't know. We have to ask Phil that.
That piece I don't know, because when we were doing these things, we were not using Webinar Jam. We were just going directly through the.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I have another issue, and I don't know. It's got me very concerned. This is being me a broadcast on the first link I sent you, the one that where you're able to see it through the Stealth
Yes.
Seminar interface. Well, I
Yeah.
have that on another computer, and I can hear, but there's no picture, and I don't know what's going on there. I'm gonna have to check with them. Is there a way you can toggle back to that and see if you have that?
Let me just open that in another browser and see
Right.
what's happening.
I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do the same thing. I didn't want to bring that up originally because it wasn't necessary to, get him in on that. So I have to fix on my end.
Okay, please provide to the webinar provided by the host. What the fuck? Oh shit. Bobby, can you sent me the link to register, and now I no longer have it. It's asking me.
No, that's
Carlos
fine.
Davies.
I can send you.
I just need the place for the broadcast. It's saying if you have already registered and are trying to attend an event, please refer to the broadcast URL provided by the webinar host.
Not a problem. I'm gonna send you.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
don't know what's going on. Luann and I did a test prior to this test. I wanted to get
Uh-huh.
the test ahead of time of meeting with Ridgely, and it worked fine then. I don't know why it's on my interface it wasn't working.
Right. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. No good. We'll test this on the other one. I only set this. Ridgely told me he only had a half an hour, so I had set this up to be like only a half an hour, 45 minutes. So it's over. It's showing that it's over. So we're not gonna be able to determine.
Okay.
I'll test that when we do the next one. I'll test that.
Yes. But that could be an issue with the cameraman.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah. Because either, our picture should be shown there or or our screen if we're sharing screens.
Well, the only thing I have broadcast setting. Our guests join, hide their audio and videos from my broadcast. I have that at yes. The only thing I have set at no is new guests in my large 3D broadcast are muted when they join.
Okay.
All right, sorry. The cameraman settings I have them at yes, so that shouldn't be the issue. The only one I have set at no is that they're muted when they join.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, I'll have to test that as well. All right, I'm going to go ahead and set up one for 11:30.
Okay.
And then we'll take it from there. And then what I'll do maybe is I'll set up another test on Stealth also for 11:30 to see if that function is working properly.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
Now,
I'm going to grab a bite to eat because we have our meeting is in half hour or 26 minutes or so, right?
26 minutes. And I see you had sent me a question about the.
Oh yes, if you wanted me to send this to Misty prior, because she just wants to move very quickly through what we need to move through and then focus a lot of the time on developing the other back end. So if you're cool with that,
I just wanted you to look at it first in case you had something you wanted to add or subtract or whatever.
Okay.
But you can go ahead and forward it.
Okay, cool. No, I thought your analysis was right on. I mean, do take a look when you have a moment at the AOC L1 community notes email that I sent a little while ago. I can send it to you again if you just want to reference it quickly.
What is it? The AOLC community?
AOC attachment, yeah, because that's essentially the Okay, if you have it, then okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Then we can bundle this.
All right, I will look at that prior to our call.
Okay.
All right, then I'll see you there at 10 o'clock.
Yep, perfect. Okay.
All right, man. Talk to you later.
Talk soon, Bobby. Yep.
All right, bye.
Yeah, bye.